Thank the Force. Star Wars Newsnet Live is back here on Thursday night, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. How are we doing this evening? Because it is the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens and the return of Star Wars to theaters. We have so much to talk about tonight, given the 10-year anniversary of one of the most important movies in all of Star Wars. If I sound terrible this evening, Tom, we're both you're kind of just getting over an illness. I am attempting to get over an illness, trying to power through because I wanted to talk about The Force Awakens this evening, but we're gonna be just fine. So Tom, how are you doing? We got Force Awakens anniversary stuff to talk about. We have Starfighter that is wrapped up shooting, where they're in full post-production mode right now. It's a lot going on in the Star Wars universe.
Yes, a lot of exciting things happening. And every time this time of year rolls around, I get nostalgic for when Star Wars finally came back with the original cast, which was amazing. So I am excited to talk about it, and I cannot believe it's been 10 years.
It is insane when you think about when The Force Awakens came out. It does feel like it was just yesterday. Like, I genuinely kind of remember exactly what I was wearing, what I was going through in my brain as I was making my way to the theater for it. So it's also feels like it's been a bajillion years since then. When you think of all of the things and all of the discourse that has happened in the last 10 years since The Force Awakens came out, it's like, how has it only been 10 years and not 20 at this point? But it's going to be fun to kind of go through all of that. Manslayer, good to see you in the chat, my guy. But it's just wild to think it's been 10 years. I'm excited. I thought Luke was going to join us, but Tom, I do have something to show you real quick, if you will indulge me for a moment.
Go for it.
Okay. So, I've been really enjoying, the thrifting game lately, and I found a few items. I was sending you some over the week, some things that I saw, and so I'm going to show you just a few items that I did make the purchase on. The first was, we have this Prince Shizor. Right, let me put him there. There he is.
What a find!
This was at Goodwill. I couldn't believe that I was just walking the random Goodwill aisles and saw that. And then I found Mr. Greedo here.
Nice.
At Goodwill. It was pretty cool. One arm moves. He kind of comes apart. But I was like, you know what? Why not? And then this one was at an antique mall. And this one I was really excited about. It is Pod Racers. So you got the Pod Racers, Sebulba, and Anakin here. And there's like these little like mini figures of Sebulba and Anakin that you can put inside the racers. So I'm like really excited to take these out and play with them at some point, because they're really cool. And I love this movie. I was like really torn because I was trying to buy a whole bunch of different things. And I was like, okay, I just need to buy one thing. It's like focus on one at the antique mall. And for whatever reason, there were other things I think would have been like, if you polled a lot of Star Wars fans, this probably would have been lower on the list. But I love pod racing and I love the Phantom Menace so much, I just couldn't help but do it. I think maybe I was partly still thinking about the fact that I watched Sebulba make his return in a trailer, for a game. And so I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and go with Sebulba tonight or today and make it happen. And it was funny. It was really fun. And then found some other things. We got my fancy found like this one big. I'll send you the picture. It was one of those like street sign things, just a Star Wars way. She's like, "Oh, this is for the apartment. Like, this is gonna be amazing." And I'm like, "Oh wow!" Didn't even have to sell her on that. So Tom, what do you think about my haul?
Very nice, very nice. I'm a sucker for the vehicles. I actually have. Let's see. I have my Millennium Falcon here. I have to go run and get this is the small scale one, but I also have, hang on one second.
I'll be hanging. So Tom, while Tom goes and gets to that, I will enlighten the listening audience of one massive. Oh, never mind. He's back very quickly. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great one. It like actually opens up the back. There's it has some of the
Oh, and
inside
it opens up. Yeah. That's awesome.
and so actually the cockpit opens as well, and you can put some of they have the minifigures for that too. I saw it and I had to get it. So
man, I love the vehicles are fun because you can they always have those little attachments or little things and
yeah, I'm kind of
intricacies
obsessed
that
with
you
the
can kind
vehicle.
of figure it out. So no, the vehicles are always really cool. I bought that I bought like an AT-AT or not an AT-AT, an AAT from Phantom Menace recently as well, and
Oh, okay.
so that one's been pretty fun. And then all of this like thrifting and shopping actually worked out in my favor because we made me to my fiance. I would drive us to all these different stores and spend like the Saturday going shopping if she agreed to watch multiple episodes of season 2 of The Mandalorian that night. And it worked out in my favor because not only did these stores all have a lot of Star Wars stuff, so I was thoroughly entertained, but I also got to watch The Mandalorian. We're on season 2,
Very
and
nice.
she's terrible at watching shows. She's terrible at watching shows. Like just will watch one and then like takes her forever to go to the next one. But she really enjoyed the 2 episodes that we watched. So she's locked in. She enjoys it. So we're making progress, Tom.
Season 2 is definitely worth it.
Oh, season 2 is so good. But guess what episode she called it her favorite episode of The Mandalorian so far? Guess what episode? First, we're on the second season, and we've also watched the first season.
So I would say maybe it was my least favorite of season 2, but it's still good. But is it the spider episode?
Yeah, that's her. She's like, that's my favorite episode.
That's hilarious. I mean,
It's
I
hilarious.
love season 2, but that's my least favorite episode just because there's so many other good ones in season 2.
Right.
But I don't know. It came to
Which
mind.
I thought she would hate that episode because I'm like, she hates bugs in general, like the
Yeah.
spiders and everything. But when I tell you she was obsessed with Frog Lady, like she loved Frog Lady, like
Yeah.
frog creature. She was like, and then whenever Grogu was eating the eggs, she was completely laughing and screaming at the TV when the spiders were falling down and everything. It was so funny. I'm sitting here. She's like, "Oh, I'm so invested in this, like right now." She goes, "This poor man and child just they can never have an easy journey somewhere." It was funny. It was really funny. I was like, I did not think that would be like the best one.
Manslayer said, was the Jack Black episode the other one? And no, we don't talk about season 3. We don't talk about it.
We haven't gotten to season 3 yet. So then we watch the next one with Bo-Katan, and she knows how much I love Ahsoka Tano. And so when Bo-Katan name drops Ahsoka at the end of that episode, she's like, wait, Ahsoka's in this show? Like she really doesn't know. She's like, she's in the show, she's in the season. I was like, yeah, it's coming up. She's like, oh, we have to watch it. I'm like, we are winning. But she doesn't even know any of the Ahsoka lore at all. She just knows that like I have all this Ahsoka stuff. So it is funny. It's a good time. Is your favorite aside from the finale? What's your favorite Mando episode?
The finale one, The Rescue, is my favorite Mandalorian episode of all time. But I love the first episode. When I remember when it came out, and I hadn't watched it yet. I went to see it with my brothers because we're big fans, and I saw that the name was the Marshal, and I hadn't read the book series. What is it? My old mind always forgets these things. You'll remember it. The book series, the Aftermath books. But I knew of the character of Cobb Vanth, so I put 2 and 2 together. Says if that'd be such a great tie-in if they have him in Mandalorian, if that's what it's about, the Marshal.
Oh, okay.
So when he named, he tells who he is. I was like, yes, it's great that continuity was really great. But it's an amazing episode too. I love that.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. This is a funny comment. It's like, what would you have done if she cried in the reunion between Ahsoka and Luke? I'll let you know. I'll let you know when we get there. I'll let you know. She's
I
not gonna have
rewatched
any
it. I
idea.
rewatched it. I
Well,
still love it, but you have points. You have points. But I
what's
still love it.
funny, what's funny is she's gonna be like, why do these two people care about each other? She's not gonna she's not gonna know. Which is what's gonna be which was gonna be funny. Have I ever told you before we get going into Starfighter and Force Awakens, but have I ever told you my very unique story watching the third episode of season 2, the second one with the frog people and
No,
Bo-Katan? I haven't. People always think I'm lying when I tell this story, but this is 100% authentic. This is true.
maybe you
There
did
is
tell me.
okay.
Maybe you did tell me the story. Is it about a dream or something?
No, this is
Okay.
real. This is real life. I thought it was a dream, but this is real life. And there is no embellishing in the story because it does not need embellishing. Like this is what happened. I am sitting there. I woke up from a bad dream, and it was the back when like the Mando episodes would come out at like 3 a.m. All those Mando episodes 3 a.m. You're like, oh my gosh. And so 3 o'clock in the morning hits, or it's like 2:30 a.m. And I wake up from this nightmare and I'm thinking, well, I'm wide awake now. I don't want to go back to sleep. I might as well just stay up and watch Mando when it comes out and get excited and then go to sleep after that. And so I make my way in the living room. I start making myself a little snack. I'm like, some yogurt, granola, and I'm just snacking. And then episode 3 o'clock hits. I press play. I'm watching. And, the when Frog Lady and Frog Man are reunited, her
Mhm.
husband, they're reunited together as they are running together. And I paused the screen when Janelle and I are watching this to tell her the story. In that moment, as they are running together to be reunited, I'm sitting there on my couch. An actual frog fell from my ceiling onto my laptop, which was sitting on the table in front of me, like a real frog.
It's like
And I was stunned. I'm like, I thought that I was like, what was in that yogurt? What was in that granola? Is
living
this
through
still
a
a
plague or
dream?
something like that of frogs.
And so I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. I'm watching the frog people on TV. The frog people are here. And so I pick up the frog and I put it outside and close the door. I press play. I finish eating my yogurt. I pause it. And this is around when Grogu is reunited with Frogman, Frogwoman while he's being on the babysit. They're babysitting him. And I go in the kitchen to throw away like my little yogurt cup because I like that Okyo's, protein yogurt stuff. And there are two frogs in the kitchen on the floor. Like they're hopping around. Like one's on the chair and one's on the floor. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? Like,
It's like the movie Magnolia.
this has never happened, like ever. This is not something that happens. I live in Florida, so very swampy, like the swamp vibes. So there's a lot of, reptilian creatures going around. But I never got a frog just chilling in my house, let alone jumping, or like multiple of them jumping around while I'm watching an episode about sentient frogs that are, speaking
That's
to Grogu. It was like an acid trip. It was like in the movie, the Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal movie, like The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, when he says there's only one thing that can get our creative juices going today, and he's like LSD. And I'm like, I felt like I was on one of those just trips that they were on in that movie watching this happen. Like no one's gonna believe me, so I recorded the frogs at that moment and then put like a video where I went to the TV screen to show the frogs and back. I'm like, this is real, like this happened, so you cannot deny. Anyway, that's my interesting frog story.
very cool. Very cool. I talking about Mandalorian, and then we'll jump into our topic. But I found the footage I was doing for a while. I was starting to start a channel when I would do reactions to the episodes, and I found my reaction to the finale of season 2, and it will never see the light of day. It is the cringiest thing that you could imagine. I was
I love it.
falling.
I love it. I
It
love,
was
I
so,
love,
it was
I
like
love
hard for
reactions.
me to watch it. I'm like trying to make sure my wife doesn't look over and see it because it was so. I mean, I was like, I I wept like a little girl.
I love I love a good reaction no matter how cringe. Like I post one for every Survivor episode that airs like immediately after. I'm sick as a dog yesterday for the finale and I recorded one and I posted it and my fiance didn't watch it live with me. She was out and then she was scrolling later and saw like a caption from the thing and saw who won and she was so mad. Oh, she's still mad. I'm like, "Why are you scrolling? It's the finale. You can't be on social media." Anyways, so let's talk about Starfighter here, and then we'll spend a while getting into it with the Force Awakens. But Starfighter has officially wrapped principal photography. We are moving into the post production phase, and Tom, this is just so awesome to hear that they're these like updates in the timeline, like Sean Levy dropping us, little images here or there, just little fun behind the scenes things. He's giving an interview here where he's talking about, behind the scenes of like, hey, we changed the whole third act, while we were filming. And now he's letting us know, like, hey, we're done. We're moving into the next phase. I don't know if this is an intentional like act of Lucasfilm giving him the green light to do all of this, or he's like, hey, this is how I roll, or like this like a partnership. I'm not really sure, but the optimistic side of me wants to say that Star Wars knows that fans might not have the greatest level of trust when it comes to projects actually coming to fruition. And that's even with Mando and Grogu being filmed and done. That always feels a little bit separate from something like Starfighter. These movies that feel, no slight against that movie, but like just a little bit larger than life, than the Mandalorian and Grogu. And I feel like there's this lack of trust in just having these images, these interviews, and just this clear timeline of what's going on. I don't know. I wonder if that's there to just help fans breathe a sigh of relief, knowing, hey, this movie's moving along perfectly right now, and there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see. I love I love having Sean Levy at the helm of a movie here because I love the way he shares updates. I love it reminds me of when Lucas was making the prequels and he was very generous with what he was sharing as things were going on. And just the levity that he does it with, and you hear about these reports on set, and everyone is kind of cynical at this point, saying, "Well, they're supposed to, make it sound like everything is going good." It seems like everything went very well and very
Mhm.
smoothly, even with making a major overhaul to the third act of the film. It seemed very drama free, which is refreshing, and I'm excited. It has such a long now post production period. Part of me in the back of my mind is like, well, I wonder if they're going to surprise us and say, hey, maybe move up the release date, which I don't think they'll do because everything is kind of coinciding with Celebration and the 50th anniversary. But it's very exciting that it's principal photography is finished, and now they have all this time if they need to do reshoots, if they need to work on the visual effects and the post production. So very exciting. I mean, and we've said this before on the show that
Yeah.
we love Mandalorian. We're big Mandalorian fans, but in a way, the movie seems kind of like just a continuation of the TV show, which I think I'm speaking for myself, but I think I speak for you as well, where we said we would have been okay with the season 4 being on Disney Plus. Then again, obviously I'm going to be there on opening day, but I'm very intrigued about Starfighter.
Yeah.
With all these updates, we still really don't know much of the story, but I feel like they're going to be kind of telling us stuff. It's going to be a long wait till it comes out, but I
Right.
think we're going to be getting a lot of good information. And again, just recapping what I said, to have a drama-free Star Wars
Nice.
film, we have two now in post production, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Daisy Ridley made comments that we may be close to. They may be close to starting photography on her film.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'm curious to see what's going on. There's really nothing, I guess, in production right now. So maybe they're going to start on the next one.
It's it is like
If
you
you'll
said,
excuse me one
refreshing to
second,
see this.
I'm sorry, my cat is trying to get out of my room. I'll be right back.
So while Tom is exercising his authority as a pet owner, I
Sorry
will
about that.
continue. I'll carry on, but take care of it. We're good.
Yeah, I'm on the
Take
Falcon, so
care.
I had to send him off on a escape pod or
That's funny. But no, I don't think that Sean Levy and Lucasfilm are going to let us forget about this movie at any point over the next year and a half. I think that every, month or two, they're going to drop a little bit of information or like a little image or something here or there to just kind of let us know, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're planning. This is like a look behind the scenes, just so you can remember and keep the Starfighter juices kind of percolating in your mind, because that's pretty consistent with what they've done over the last few months that they've been filming since this got announced. Little images here and there, and I think that's going to continue over the next year and a half, and that's exciting because I love it when they lift the veil of uncertainty and kind of give us a little bit of a look inside of what's going on. And I wish that the Mandalorian and Grogu would be a bigger part of that push right now, because it feels like we don't know much about it, if anything. And I see some comments in the chat about how it feels like Starfighter does have more marketing than Mando and Grogu right now. And that's the movie that gets released this coming May, which is,
5 months
five and
away.
a half, like 5 months away. It's 155 days away at this point. So it is fascinating to see what they will do and how much they'll amp up that marketing. I wonder if they're just waiting for this Avatar time to be over. They're putting
Yeah,
all
it's a
the
very
Disney
busy
chips there.
season right now.
And then once that's done, it's like, all right, once January hits, we're full force for Mando and Grogu.
Right, and, Disney has a lot on their plate right now. They like you said, with Avatar, with, some of the promotion for Doomsday, and, I feel like Mandalorian is kinda getting a little bit lost there, and I mean, like I said, I am thrilled to have Star Wars back in the theaters. I'll be there on opening day. I think I'm gonna really enjoy this movie. I just don't have the same excitement that I do for Starfighter, I guess, because Starfighter, there's just so much about it that Sean Levy working on it, Ryan Gosling, Amy, the
Right.
cast,
Those
and
big.
also that time period of the aftermath of the Rise of Skywalker. So I really want to see that.
It just
I
has
have a
the
feeling,
brevity around this project, is it just feels more intense. But
yeah,
I think it's important though that they don't underestimate how important it is for the Mandalorian and Grogu to do well, because I think that if you're going to release this as the first Star Wars movie in 7 years, and you have another one that's waiting a year later, like, you need this to do well and people to be excited about it. So that way, when that next one comes around next year, people aren't like, well, here we go. Like last year's wasn't very good. Like, or last year, I didn't even like it didn't make very much money. Cause sometimes people, when they don't know about something, maybe it doesn't do well initially, they're like, oh, it was a flop. And then that kind of just takes the headline rather than people actually going and watching it. But I'm just really hoping everything goes well and they can figure this out. But Starfighter, to me, I'm gonna be shocked at this point if this movie is just not a success. Like, this just feels like a Star Wars is back headline waiting to happen, with the cast and how locked in Sean Levy seems to be, and how quickly they got this up off the ground and running, and how, like you mentioned, drama free, smooth the production has been so far. I I just love the fact that it feels like this could be a Star Wars is back, moment on the big screen.
yeah. I mean, I feel like the vibe I'm feeling for Starfighter is how I felt for the Force Awakens in a way. And I feel like Mandalorian and Grogu is how I felt about Rogue One. Now, Rogue One was an amazing film. It's probably, some call it the best of the Disney era, and I was completely blown away by it. So I hope that happens with the Mandalorian as well.
Mhm.
And I know that they have a lot of interesting things that they've set up that they can explore. I just, the thing that worries me is that we're the ones that are supposed to be the most excited. I feel like are the casual fans going to go out and see it if they haven't seen the show, or if
Yeah.
they're like, well, I'll wait till it's on Disney Plus. That's really where it should be, right? But
So
I'm
they're
just
banking a
saying,
lot on families with Grogu, I
yeah, that's
think,
good
the
too.
selling point, which I will say again, and I don't have the inside information on all the metrics when it comes to the younger audiences, but I will say that for like my 6th grade students, I feel like I see a lot of Star Wars stuff, and I've seen a lot of Grogu shirts this year, and more Star Wars than I have seen in years past. And that is, I used to teach 8th, now I'm teaching some 6th, and and I'm wondering, if there was some of those younger audiences that younger generation, younger ages that did have gravitated towards some of the newer Star Wars stuff a little bit more and are starting to come into it. That's just anecdotally speaking from, a very, you know, minor like look at things through, my school lens. But I don't know. I'm hopeful that, they have 5 months to get this going. And I'm really hoping once the new year hits, it's like, hey, here we go. We like fast track to success here. We're gonna get in every theater across the nation. We're gonna have a little Grogu running around, the animatronic running around the theater to remind everyone about this. Like, come on, let's go.
Yeah,
This is a big one.
it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm not in those circles. I don't see a lot of like young children, but I guess culturally they are really into Grogu, Baby Yoda,
Mhm.
you know. And so yeah, that'll probably bring some people out. I like what RG said in the comments that we need a better trailer for sure. And I think that
Hmm.
will help sell it. And
Yeah.
I know in our comments we were talking about maybe they're going to do a big push with in the new year, especially with the Super Bowl in February. So
Yeah, this is always
maybe there'll be
it's always
something
cool.
there for it. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of movies coming out next year. So
It's crazy. I was going through like a list of blockbuster type movies just from the IP franchises. You got like Dune, Avengers Doomsday, like I said, Dune 3, Avengers Doomsday, Spielberg's Disclosure Day. You have Project Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling, Mando and Grogu. There's Sunrise on the Reaping with Hunger Games. There's Supergirl. And
yeah,
probably Spider-Man, Brand New Day comes out. This is a massive year for the big franchises and IPs. So we'll see how it all goes. But the good thing is that 2026 and 2027 will have Star Wars movies in them, and that's an exciting thing to think about. I'm glad that production's going smoothly. I can't wait for that first little teaser that we're gonna get at some point next year.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, it's not that I don't want this movie or I'm not excited about it. It's just that I feel like it's almost like that internet meme with the guy looking at the girl and the woman's looking at him. It's I feel that way because I feel I just have more excitement personally for Starfighter, and I think
Yeah.
everything around it and the way that we're getting these updates on it, it's just making me more excited for it. So,
Mhm.
and I want that. I want to have that for Mandalorian. So hopefully we'll be getting that early in the new
Yeah,
year.
it's a lot of it's the market. If they just were to create a good campaign around it for the next 5 months, I think we both be pretty hyped about it. It's not that difficult to get us excited over here. It doesn't take much. So
No.
let's hope that happens. Let's hope that happens. All right, so let me put this back up here. 10-year anniversary, Tom. 10 years, The Force Awakens. It has been 10 freaking years since Star Wars returned to theaters, and my number one question, we're gonna get into the nostalgia of it all. We're gonna get into like fun stories. We're gonna get into, what does this like what has happened, in the last 10 years since this came out, how the fandom has changed. But my number one question for you, I know you watched this very recently. Does it hold up?
In a word, yes. So I watched it last night again. I haven't seen it in a couple of years. When it first came out, I saw it multiple times. Obviously, it came out, it was on when the video was available. I saw it again and again, and I really enjoyed it. I kind of feel like there have been criticisms around it over the years, similar to A New Hope. Some things, people saying it, calling it a safe movie. So I watched it last night. I wanted to go in. I like now saving some of these movies for when there's an event or when they're
Yeah.
re-released and stuff. So I watched it last night, and I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I feel like it held up so well. It's aged really well. It was exciting. I don't really think it was safe. Some of the choices they made with, killing off one of the main characters, um, although it breaks my heart dramatically, I think it worked. And one of the things, and I know the criticism about it being very similar to New Hope. I think the further we move away from, I guess, that time, I think it was the perfect way for Disney to reintroduce the franchise, because it really felt like, we talk a lot about this doesn't feel very Star Warsy, or Andor was a totally different tone, of course, than some of the other projects,
Yeah.
and this felt like a Star Wars film. It felt like a logical successor to the original trilogy, where it fall to Episode 6. I was very pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it. The pace is amazing. The action is amazing. And I feel that I felt I really enjoyed it. I was a little nervous. I'm like, is it going to be, after, removed, the nostalgia back then was so overwhelming for me that it kind of, it's hard not to look back at that time and really just enjoy the nostalgia. But
Yeah.
like, I wanted to look at it as if I was seeing it for the first time, and to
Mhm.
me, it delivered. I
Yeah.
know
I
that's my opinion. I know a lot of people have very varied opinions on the sequel trilogy, but this movie
right.
really delivered when I saw it again.
I was having a really bad day. I think it was like a month ago, like a little over a month ago. I was in just a bad place, and nothing like crazy. It was just, just one of those days. It was rough. And I was like, I just want to escape and watch a movie. And normally when that happens, it will be like, I'll go to Star Wars. Like, if it's, I just need to escape and watch a movie, I'll pick a Star Wars movie, or maybe a arc from a show or something. And so I immediately clicked on A New Hope, that's usually one of my go-tos. It's like A New Hope or The Phantom Menace is usually what I go to if I just want to watch a one-off like Star Wars movie. And I skipped both of them, and I actually went over to Force Awakens and watched The Force Awakens. I was like, you know what? I just really want to watch TFA. I really want to watch the sequel trilogy. So I went to that, and like, I'm with you. It holds up quite well. I I think there are a lot of people frustrated with the ending of the saga and the end of this trilogy, and that kind of maybe taints some
Mhm.
of this movie. I will not disagree with that, because there are times I'm watching it and I'm just thinking to myself, like, for me, especially Finn, like with Finn, it's like, oh my gosh, like the way that he doesn't get developed in The Rise of Skywalker after these first two movies, it was really frustrating. And I love his character is just, I think, absolutely amazing in that movie.
Yeah.
And with Daisy Ridley's portrayal of Rey, I love Rey. She's my favorite sequel trilogy character. There's very few Star Wars compositions that I think can top Rey's theme in the sequel trilogy. It is beautiful. I love it. And I just remember when I was rewatching it, and she's going with her speeder and they played the theme for
Mhm.
the first time, and the music swells, the flute's going, and it just hits every time. And this movie, I think, was a perfect, like you mentioned, like a perfect reset for Star Wars, of Star Wars being back. I think it did exactly what it needed to. The fever, the fervor for Star Wars, like, it was just so intense at that time. Like, you could go nowhere without people talking about it, without the merchandise being like thrown at you in front of your face. It was the first movie to make 900 like $1 million domestically in just 50 days. I mean, it was insane. And I don't know if we'll ever capture that again. Just that phenomenon. I don't know if that's even possible, which partly is okay, because it was a really special time, and it should be. but this movie holds up. I'm with you on the people that say it's like too safe and all of that. I'm okay, whatever. It's whatever. A lot of those people also crap on The Last Jedi for breaking lore and breaking canon. I'm like, okay, well, you just said the Force Awakens is too safe, so whatever. All of that to pretty much say that this was a movie that did its job. I think that 10 years later, it continues to do its job. It's an extremely rewatchable Star Wars movie.
Mhm.
And that's saying a lot in a movie that kills Han Solo. So
Yeah,
it's remarkable.
that still breaks my heart. I was like, if only could be like I see things like that, they don't bother me so much because I know dramatically it works in the story, but it's like my one of my like old friends that I grew up with, basically. I by the way, he did a Harrison Ford, as I watched it again, he did an incredible job jumping back into that role.
Mhm.
And I really enjoyed his performance. It was really his film in a way, like as far as the old trilogy character that they focused on in that movie. And yeah, he did
Mhm.
he did a phenomenal job. The writing was good. You have Lawrence Kasdan back, um, and the score. We were talking about it. Jedi Steps. I love that. The way that they introduced all the characters again, including the Falcon, was like was really I was getting nostalgic, but I saw it, looking back from this lens, like after like a decade has passed, you look at things differently. And
Right.
um like I remember there were two beats that like I was like, I wish they were different because when he gives the map to BB-8, I'm like, it's very similar to when Leia gave the plans to R2, and then it didn't really bother me when I watched it yesterday. I was like, okay, this is how they did it. They were kind of, in a way, they were reintroducing it back. Of course, Starkiller Base, I still, still very similar to the Death Star, but it was used differently, and I felt it just worked for me. It's hard to say, but it's my opinion. I know people. I
Well,
understand.
it's easy to find little nitpicks. It's easy to
Yeah,
find things.
exactly,
Like there
man.
like we each I'm sure that we could sit here and poke holes of things forever. Like we don't know anything about this republic and they just destroyed this republic. We don't where's Luke? There's little things you could
Right.
do the entire time. But I think that undersells and understates the immense task of bringing Star Wars forward because this wasn't like a prequel story that you're telling. This is episode 7 moving past episode 6. So you have, the time like 40 years of lore of 40 years of fans that have been birthed into this universe and to bring it back with the original cast like that is no small feat in of itself to do that in a way that felt extremely satisfying for the vast majority of people that watched it and not to discount people who don't like it but the 2015 this is me maybe putting on my tinfoil hat here Tom 2015, it felt like that was almost like the nexus event year of the 2015 moving forward, the surge and rise of like social media and everyone having a podcast and everyone making YouTube videos around Star Wars. And it felt like the amount of discourse was here and just went up to a whole nother level because it was the age of everyone suddenly being able to kind of like have their own platform however they wanted it and with that was bred who can have the hottest takes who can do all of these things and it was just crazy to think about all of these negative things that started coming out months after the movie was over that you would start to see oh yeah that Ray character actually was not very good or this is like this movie was basically just a new hope again like or a lot of negativity that happened after the fact because we live in a society now where when things get too positive like that we have to hate will drive our clicks up hate will drive our views up so
Yep.
we're going to do that and almost wonder it's one of those things where no other films like Star Wars films are put under the microscope to that level. Like I really don't think there's another fandom that puts their movies under the microscope that Star Wars movies get put under at this point. And I just wonder what that would have looked like in 1983 when Ewoks are on the screen for the first time. And I know that there were, there was negative reviews out at the time about the Return of the Jedi and negative things that came out about that. But with the day and age of social media now,
Yep.
it's just on a whole nother level.
Back then
And
you weren't bombarded with it. You had to find it.
yeah.
And if it was out, and it really, your reviews and any negativity or positivity was in your circle of friends or family or whatever, that you would get like the positive and the negative comments. But it wasn't like now where you're bombarded with it from the whole world.
Like you can't stay away from it. You cannot if you are online at all. But then it it even makes its way into like normal discourse now, where you have conversations with people and you hear regurgitated things that you're hearing from this video or this popular take online that 20 years ago was not even entering into the zeitgeist of conversation. It's not entering into like our normal conversation. We might go see a movie, have our opinion. And I think there are generations of people now that are going to see movies and they're having their opinion on the movie dictated by what Rotten Tomatoes is saying and what social media is saying and what this popular person on Twitter said, or this YouTube video, this TikTok video that broke down everything frame by frame to deliver a cringe quote or a bad scene here. And that's not really what the movies are about. Certainly what the experience is about. And I do love how we had this moment for a while in The Force Awakens that I don't think will ever happen again, of just people genuinely coming around with this intense excitement to be back for Star Wars and leaving the theater incredibly satisfied and happy, and hearing just a lot of positivity about it and people excited. I just wish that we could almost bottle that up and push it out there into the universe for future Star Wars projects.
I remember, I mean, it was a commercial and a critical success. I remember the Rotten Tomato score was, I think it's 92, 93 right now, which is amazing. And I think when it first, I remember the first reviews pouring in, it was at a high 90 for like 97, 98 for a bit. And, then of course the rest of the reviews come out and it balances, but it was a juggernaut when it came out, and I would say most of the feedback was positive. And there's probably like 8 out of 10 people just generally was very enthusiastic about it. And some people had people had a lot of I guess criticisms on certain things. And look, I'm here to say, if you feel that way, that's perfectly fine, if you have it. But just it became, and we see where things went, after The Last Jedi came out, like just the vitriol of so much of it. And I understand people are passionate, about it, and certain things they want and they, or they don't like. And I totally get it. It's just that it was a nice time to be alive as a Star Wars fan, because I felt like there was this, even if people didn't like it, people weren't ripping it apart. Like maybe that one person online or 2 people for a while, and then things kind of, like you said, as time went on, they kind of lumped everything together.
Here's how you know that, just in general, that you should not trust these fan reviews and these fan ratings of things, right? So have you looked at I just pulled up the Rotten Tomatoes fan audience scores for the sequel films. What do you think The Force Awakens is at?
I thought it was at like an 80, right?
It's 84%. 84%. Okay. What do you think The Last Jedi is at?
it's like 50 something, right? Or 40.
41%.
That
But
that
here's
I mean,
which,
honestly,
let's
that
just say let's just say in a world that sure, The Last Jedi is that much worse.
what's the score?
Here's the thing. Most people, I think if you talk to them, will say The Rise of Skywalker is easily the weakest of the three. This is individual movies. Most people, not everybody. There's a lot of people like my friend Paul who loves The Rise of Skywalker. Will defend that movie until the end of time. I have no there's a lot of things I don't like about that movie, but it's a Star Wars movie and I love certain aspects of it.
Me too.
Remember, 84 and 41. What is the audience score for The Rise of Skywalker?
It's high. I think it's like 80, right?
It's
75.
86%. It is the highest rated Star Wars sequel movie by the fans, the
That's
audience.
hilarious.
And it is
Hilarious.
easily the weakest musically, visually, story-wise. I 100% will
Yeah.
stand by that completely. Like I just think this
I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it, but the things that we talked about, I totally agree with you. So it's very bittersweet, that movie for me.
Well,
I will fight you on the
there are
music.
aspects of it that I love. Like there are things I love, and I
Yeah.
will enjoy watching that movie. I had a good time when I saw it, but
Right.
it is quite easily the lowest of the three for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I will fight for the music because I do really like the score of that movie.
Well, when I say I will say like the music's great, but I mean, music's great in every saga film, like like John Williams movie. Like it's like not really when I'm saying it's because I'm not trying to say it sucks. Like I'm definitely not saying that because it's freaking John Williams and Star Wars. Like it's all good, but
then we'd have to fight.
Yes, it just the last one is just the movie. Whenever she was Ray Palpatine, that's when I got so mad in the theater. Like that was when I got so angry, and then after that, I calmed down for a little bit, and I was fine for the rest of the movie with how it ended, and she kills him and all that. Like, and then hearing the voices of the Jedi was great. That was fine. Anyway, but with the Force Awakens,
that to the 10th anniversary.
Yeah, it's just this is kind of like my point of we live in this world where anyone can now say all these things, and we have these hate campaigns that go out for different things, like, and you just see it building and building. Where The Rise of Skywalker was pretty poorly received, I feel like, by in large part by Star Wars fans. A lot of people are like, all right, well, it's over. We finished it. But it's the highest now. It's sitting at the highest rated audience score here on Rotten Tomatoes of all three. But when you left the theater after Force Awakens 10 years ago in 2015, it was night and day. Like there is no way that the level of discourse and excitement after the Force Awakens is was anywhere near being below The Rise of Skywalker. Like that movie was so hyped up and everyone was seeing it multiple times.
Yeah, and I did know some people that were iffy on it, but it's still hard for me to believe that because I feel like when people say it's a safe movie, I think it's a familiar movie, and I think that it hits the right beats. I don't know how you can enjoy that movie as a Star Wars fan. I mean, look, this is my opinion.
I'm sure there are people that don't, but I'm with you though. Like I'm with you.
It has like everything really, you know. I can understand certain story aspects, you know. My brother's a little bit iffy on the third act, but
yeah.
I feel like it's a good looking, like exciting, fun movie. And
it's the best.
I love it.
I'm with you. It is, and then like this comment here, like RG, it's a comfort movie, and I think that's what Star Wars needed at the time.
It is.
Movie.
I agree.
There's nothing wrong with
that. I
that.
love that comfort.
Yes, absolutely. Now, if I'm putting a ranking together of my favorite Star Wars movies, The Force Awakens is not ever going to crack my like top 4 for sure. Probably
Agreed.
top 5 for me personally, but maybe on a good day it could hit that 5th spot. But I just think that for what Star Wars needed, where Star Wars is at, I remember going into it with a buddy of mine. I went to the, like, premiere where it was the entire saga. You watched all the movies on the big screen, and then you got to episode 7. And, like, we got there at 1 AM, and it was this big event. It was all packed, and we watched all the movies. There was a guy next
Ooh,
to us who was a little crazy, and I was very concerned for his mental state as we watched, because he sat down and he's, like, rubbing his hands together. He's like, "Oh, yeah, here we go. It's time. I quit my job for this. They told me I couldn't take the day off tomorrow, so I said, 'I'm done. I'm out of here.'" And he would leave
me.
in, like, in between all the movies for his smoke breaks. He would come back just smelling like cigarette smoke, and it was like, "Oh my gosh, dude, like, ah, we're in," and not my thing, right? But it was just, he cracked me up every time. He's like, "Oh, we're back. We're back. It's time. It's time. I timed it perfectly. I'm here for the good stuff." And anyway, um, but my friend he was very excited, but he was a little skeptical about Star Wars, like The Force Awakens. He was a little nervous. And I just remember during the sequence of Rey and Finn escaping the First Order and the Falcon, and it was like we had reversed. I was sitting there immersed in the movie, but still kind of like on the edge of my seat, like waiting for it to like waiting for myself to fully just buy into the new era, right? Like I wasn't quite there yet, which, usually I'm the one that's all in first. And my friend, he just whispers to me, like, he just goes, "This is so awesome. Like, I love this." And almost hearing someone else validate what I was kind of feeling, but, like, hesitant to accept, almost
Mhm.
made me settle down a little bit, like, "Hey, this is just a movie. It is just Star Wars at the end of the day." Like, we get so worked up as fans sometimes when we go, because Star Wars is larger than life and it means so much. And I think that was like a prime example of how I felt. Like, I was so worked up and so excited, so anxious, that I couldn't even relax and enjoy the movie when it came out at first.
It's so funny that you say that because I had a very similar experience my first viewing of it. I think it was all that I was so all of the hype and all of the, I guess, scared, "Is this gonna be good?" This has to really
Mhm.
deliver. It's my, the original trilogy characters that I grew
Yeah.
up with.
It's
And I
Luke,
feel like
Han,
when I
Leia.
left the theater, I was enjoying it, but it was, like, almost like it wasn't my favorite viewing of the film, the first one. And not because I didn't like the movie, I just, like, was I guess, Han Solo, but, like, it was it took me a while to actually, like, and it was, like, it came out right before Christmas. I couldn't see it till, like, the next week because I had
Yeah.
so much going on in my life. So I'm like, "Was it really that good? Was it really that good?" And then I saw it again. I fell in love with it, and, um, it was almost like, and I couldn't put my finger on it, what it was, and I think it was all of that, excitement and hype and trying to, like you said, accept it into the fold
Mhm.
of the franchise and how it
Mhm.
stacks up with everything. But so it was kind of a roller coaster ride of emotion through that. And
Mhm.
I think it was almost like when you go on vacation and say it takes like a few days to actually relax and let it,
Yeah.
I think it's funny because I had a very similar experience with the first viewing. And then of course it
Mm.
really, I guess I knew what to expect. I knew it was happening.
Mhm.
And,
Well, there
um,
was the
it was
feeling, especially after the first time I watched it, and I know I had to go see it again. And to this day, it's the movie I've seen the most in theaters. I saw it 7 times in
nice.
theaters, and it was it never got old for me. Like, it just never got
Right.
old. I wanted to see it again and again and again, and there were just certain points of that movie that just made me feel like a certain type of way, a certain type of special, very excited, that nostalgic feeling, the goosebumps, the feeling that you get when it's one of those indescribable, it's the feeling you get when you watch epic Star Wars. And a few of those moments, like when Han and Chewie first make their way on the Falcon, I just love the beginning of that movie up to that point too, with Rey and Finn just diving
Yes.
into those characters. Um, Rey, when Kylo has the saber and he's pressing the saber down and he's like, I'll show you the ways of the Force. And then you just, she's like, the Force, closes her eyes, the Force theme like swells
Mm,
up and then
that was
hits
amazing.
right as she opens it. And you just, in that moment, you're always like, she is her. Like, this is the person that's going to be the face of this trilogy. And that obviously culminates in seeing Luke Skywalker at the end. And so, and every time after I watched it, I'm like, when's the next one? I got to know what Luke's up to. Like, what is going on? And then you start the theories all over again, and you're getting excited. So I will never forget how I saw that 7 times, and each time I came out just feeling incredibly satisfied every time.
Right, right. Yeah, it was a magical time, and that scene with Ray and Finn, when they escape Jakku, that holds up so well.
Mhm.
I remember speaking to one of the animators that worked on that incredible action scene, and just asking questions about like just the way, not to get too deep into it, but the one thing I loved about the Falcon, it's always been my favorite ship because I just loved how they used it in the original trilogy, the way it moved and the way it was. So I felt like they captured that so well, and yeah, I that was just that was
Mhm.
amazing. I'm reading some of the comments.
Oh, they did Hux dirty for sure in The Rise of Skywalker
Yeah,
after they killed
yeah.
him.
I was never a big Hux fan, but I think Hux is best. He was really good in,
And I agree
well,
with this too. TFA, it does feel so much like the original film, like the feeling, 100%.
yes.
And I I have to say too that that I feel like the balance of, like he said, like the feeling, but like the humor element of it with the character relationship dynamic, it felt so purely Star Wars, more so than the other two in the sequel trilogy. Like it felt like a seamless fit into Star Wars versus the other two. I do think there are very good arguments to be made for how they might not be necessarily seamless fits, but part of that is, your cup of tea with the Last Jedi and what you really like. And I, am one of those people that loves the Last Jedi and will champion that as my, my favorite Star Wars films. I like it more than the Force Awakens, but in just terms of like that effortless fit into the Star Wars, you know, aesthetic, Force Awakens 100% captures that
Hmm.
better than almost any other movie.
Yeah, like I said, it felt like the natural progression from uh 30 years so after the original trilogy. It felt like it really felt in universe. And
Mhm.
yeah. And you think about it, after the Disney acquisition, I know Lucas decided he wanted to continue to make the sequel films, but they really made it quickly. They got a crew and cast together fairly quickly to start a Star Wars film when after the 2012 acquisition by Disney. So it was I know a lot of people talk about how rushed the sequel trilogy was, and I see some of the points with that, and maybe lack of a concrete direction, but they got that movie together really quickly, and it seemed to go really well, and I think it was a great way to start that trilogy.
Mhm.
So
It was a lot of fun, and I wish it was in theaters this week so we could go see
I
it, but
know, I know.
it's okay. It's
It's too bad.
okay. Freaking Avatar. Well, Tom, any before I lose my voice completely, it's going fast, so
Yeah.
I don't have much left to offer this evening because 'cause I'm under the weather, oh my gosh, but we powered through for this show. We could talk more Force Awakens in the future. I love this movie so much, and there's so many other aspects we could talk about from, like, more the music, more the choreography to the story beats, every little
Yeah, there's
aspect
a
of
lot
it,
to
we
talk
could
about.
dive in some more at some point. I would love to. But any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
Just will say kind of what I said at the beginning. I'm so happy that it aged. To me, in my opinion, it aged very well, and it was very nice to see it again. And I hope that the sequel trilogy does grow on more people, and kind of separated from all of the fan discourse, that you could just sit down at home and watch it, with your family or by yourself, and just really just immerse yourself in that world, and kind of disconnect from all of the I guess the fan the negativity, maybe, or the all the arguments, and just enjoy
Mhm.
it for what it is. So that was very freeing for me, and that's, I think, why I enjoyed it so much. It was kind of, you know, it was just a way to escape for a little bit, and get back into that world. So
I will say this, Manslayer, when I get my voice back, I mean, you could tell it's going fast. I will give you my best Hux impression imaginable, hopefully in a day with it being Christmas, but hopefully the week after that we can make something happen on New Year's Day. Maybe we'll see what that looks like. But I will do my best. My voice should be good to go in a couple weeks, and I will deliver my best. You might have to remind me, but it will happen. I'll make it happen. I will make it legal. Anyway, so Tom, thanks for hopping in. You are the best as always. Thanks to everyone in the chat tonight for hanging out with us. We'll be back in a couple weeks for Star Wars News at Live. I was weird. There was other podcasts being planned for this last week. I was hoping to record with Tom and Luke both for different things, and then got sick and didn't have a voice for a few days. Now I finally kind of have a voice again, so we were able to make the live show happen. But it'll all work out. It'll all work out as always. So for Light and Life, everyone, and remember, we are all on the lookout for Mandalorian Grogu marketing.